I do my editing and go to fucking sleep, we should be fine for tomorrow for Project Zomboid. But it would be like the first time in a month I would hit that. Now there's a blue dude here that can do multiple shots and I'm not thrilled by that. He's doing fire. I might actually peek back down from in here. That might be safer. But yeah, I have set days for everything. So Monday is supposed to be 7 Days to Die, but I'm waiting for 2.0. This guy is Blood Rumble, Demon, multi-shots. There he is. Nope. Where'd the blue one go? There. Lightning Enchanted Stone Skin, Fire Immune, and Lightning Immune. I think. No. Teleportation and Immune to Fire Curse. There we go. Wait, there might be two. Yeah, there's fucking two. Oh my god. No. Let's all back off. So I realized I was reading one, and one had teleportation, and the other one had Lightning and Fire Immune. Sweet Jesus. Two of them in one spot's a bit rough. Yeah, Monday's supposed to be 7 Days to Die. At the moment, I'm not currently playing 7 Days to Die because I'm waiting for 2.0. 2.0 comes out at the end of the month, so I'll start playing that at the end of the month. I will swap around a day for like a release day like that though. It'll probably be a Tuesday, so I'll temporarily swap out the first day. RimWorld's Tuesdays. Wednesday used to be random game night, which was when I used to play like a variety of different games that I don't get to play in a regular schedule. But I'm not currently doing streams on Wednesdays because I'm supposed to be rigging my avatar and or at the moment kind of resting as well. Jesus, stop hitting me with the lightning. Thursdays is Diablo 2, which is what we're playing at the moment. I'm doing a nostalgia playthrough with that. Fridays is supposed to be Project Zomboid, but as I said, I haven't been making many Fridays for a bit. And I don't stream on weekends. So that's kind of how it goes. Obviously, if I have like a special event or something like that coming up, I normally announce it like in the lead up to it, kind of like how at the end of the month there's going to be a 10-hour Rim Connect stream. That's on the 24th. I have to check what that is. I think that's on a Tuesday. Hold on. My calendar. Yeah, it's on a Tuesday. So, yeah, that will be 10 hours, and that week I won't be streaming the rest of that week. I have off. That's something I've had, like, planned since February. So, like, I'd love to have somewhere where I can just, like, as I did in April, just, like, post up my entire, like, calendar month and stuff. But, like, most of the time, I'm pretty consistent. Like, same hours, same days streams, stuff like that. The only time I change stuff around is if I have, like, you know, a special event or, like, a game happens to release and I can only play it, like, the following day to my regular schedule or something like that. Otherwise, I leave it till, like, the following week. It can wait. I can't believe I've never noticed what the sizes of the avatar and the chat's moving around and stuff. And I figure that's just more of a, like, you know, if you're enjoying chilling and stuff like that, you're probably, like, not necessarily, like, specifically eyeing off the screen constantly. Plus, like, 7 Days to Die and RimWorld, my avatar's roughly around about the same size between the two. But yeah, if I play other games and stuff like that, I have, like, them all set up and stuff like that. If I play, The Coffin of Andy and Lele, I am up in like the top corner of my screen. I'm like up here peering down on everybody. I enjoy when I have that one. I can't do it as well now with Streamlabs, but it's still fun. I still sit down there and like watch the shit show unfold. What the hell is that? You, mate. But yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to once I've got the Black 2D avatar anyway, because I've seen some people be able to like move that around more fluid, because you can move it around in the program. When I started streaming with Twitch Studio, and Twitch Studio let me do a lot of things. For starters, it had like a better noise cancelling thing, so you know, my chair creaking, I'd be able to like move around on my seat and you wouldn't hear that. Mind you, I didn't have that seat back then, but it's just an example. Then for like my avatar, I could rotate her in any direction I wanted, which was super cool because that allowed me to put her into like really strange positions for like certain games, or like peering out the corner or something. That's great. whereas Streamlabs is a lot more rigid. It's like a 90-degree like rotation and stuff. It doesn't allow you to like play with it as much. So it's like a snap to rotation thing, which is kind of frustrating. Welcome in, Izu. I think it's Izu, isn't it? I keep saying Inzu. I'm sorry about that. And how you doing today? How's your bronchitis? Just kind of like talking about like the random spots of my avatar and stuff. We just had the game crash like about 20 minutes ago. I was all the way up killing Shank and I just killed him. And then the game crashed and I lost all the map progress. So I've got to kill everything and get all the map progress all the way back up to him. It's just I probably don't have that much time to get all the way back up to him, to be fair. And now I've got these like little teleporting cunts and they are the worst for making sure that I've cleared everything. Because as you can tell, they just like teleport around the place, right? So not the greatest, you know. Oh man. So not too much better than Tuesday, sadly, but I'm pretty functional. Nice. And I take it that you acquired groceries and stuff to have sustenance. Welcome in, Dommy. What are you up to? I might have said that wrong. Maybe not. I may have to go back. What is this, bolts? Maybe. Hold on a second. I can move some shit. I can fit that. I love the Jenga of this game. I really do. There we go. Oh, what do you call it? It's not Jenga. It's, Tetris. There's the word. Yeah, so every time I come back into town, it does at least, like, save my XP. We got a level 2, by the way. It saves my XP and a bit of my progress and stuff. The only problem is, obviously, as per the playthrough and stuff, it doesn't fucking matter for the stuff outside because as soon as I exit the game, everything respawns anyway. So then I have to still go through and re-clear it even if I've got that section of the map until I work my way up to and manage to get a waypoint. It's a re-clear area until I get the waypoint. So I probably won't make it all the way up to Shank. What the fuck is this kind of layout, Marla? I haven't seen her put all the fucking health down the bottom here like this. Hold on. What was that? Oh, it's just red. Anyway, I do look forward to when I can use the staves and wands and shit in the future on a sorceress. That's going to be fun. I was saying earlier that I kind of almost wouldn't mind pushing this one to like 99. But with the crashes that I get, fuck that. Just no. I would get like I'd get somewhere and I'd lose the whole night's like fucking progress. Like that's how that would go. So yeah, nah. But at least we're on 82 now. So we're getting there. Do I have anything in my cube? I do. I probably need to like heal myself. Your backseat game, min-maxing and tips that. Nope. What do you need? In general, on every game, just no. Project Zomboid is the only one that I allow like some guidance and obviously like not specifically spoilers, but like just like if I'm asking a question and stuff, people can answer it. That's fine. Just because I'm still learning that game and stuff. But I'm not doing min-maxing and shit in this. I am purposely making a terrible character. I'm recreating the character I had when I was 12. I made an Amazon called Kelly. And due to the really bad OCD I had at the time, all of her stats were equal. And that applied for her skill tree too. And I've got to get the whole map and I've got to kill everything, pick up all the loot, sell all the loot. My helper can only be the original one that I was given, and she's got to go all the way to killing Val with me. And she only gets my hand-me-down, so when I eventually upgrade something, she can have that, but I can't just like purchase something for her. She could be great, but she's not allowed to be. And then, what else have we got in here? I can't use any rune words because when I was 12, I didn't know that those were a thing. And I can't use anything that can assist my character, like reduce requirements or like kind of like compensate for a specific stat to allow me to have a different item. Like for instance, when I found, what was it, like my belt? I think my belt allowed me to wear or use a piece of armor or something like that, or a weapon or whatever. That was fine, but I couldn't put a charm on my person to buff up the slight difference in my, what do you call it, my stats to compensate to be able to wear something. Stuff like that, you know. Shift right clicking potions and scrolls is shop to fill them up always. No. I will more often than not, actually, like, just take my time and slowly drag items over into the shop. Just because, like, I enjoy doing so every so often. Sometimes I'm also thinking or deep in thought, and it just gives me an extra moment to, like, think or finish my sentence and stuff. So, like, yeah, when I'm purchasing something, sometimes I'll click on it and then I'll hit purchase, yes. Sometimes in my inventory, I'll accidentally click on something and sell it and be like, fuck, now I gotta buy that back or something like that. I also can't get a better bow. Here's my bow for you guys to peruse. I can't get a better bow until I have 2.5 million in my stash and, what is it, 820,000 in my inventory, and then I can go gamble for a bow. But I can't do so before then. I've already spent about 5 million trying to get a bow, and that's the one we ended up with. And then this is the one that I ended up replacing that with because that was shit. So that was also a downgrade too. That's 11 to 117. So yeah. What's his name? Elzik in Luke Galane is extremely rich. That's about as long ago as I had my bow from Act 2 in here. But my previous bow was like from Nightmare, all the way through Nightmare, so we've had it for a while and stuff. Love how painful this is. It is something, look, it has like the genuine nostalgia of how the game was like played. Like, I'm not saying that everybody started their first game with a purposely terrible character. Like, some people got into this and, like, you know, quickly figured out that you could put, like, extra fucking dexterity and fucking energy, vitality, whatever, whichever one off the top of my head is the matter. I can't during this battle, but, like, shit like that, and you could have something, like, decent and stuff. But, like, when I was a kid, I explored the whole map, and I picked up everything because I didn't know if anything was good or not, and, like, I sold everything because everything was money, and, you know, there are certain points you'll see in my playthrough where, like, money gets really, really low because I die a lot, and I've gambled for something recently, and I can't afford Eliza. She's 50 grand when she dies now, as of tonight. So when she dies and I have to resurrect her to take it back in to have a little bit of help fighting something, you know, that's a 50 grand drop to get her. So, you know, at one point in time we had a unit of currency measured in a 1 Eliza, and that was 35,000. So whenever I get 35,000, that used to be 1 Eliza. So yeah, it's been just like that. Love this crawl-like progression. Why don't you use any charms? Okay, so I have got charms saved in my stash. By the way, I can only use 1 page of stash because we used to only have 1 page of stash back in the day. Anywho, so I can use charms against a boss if I can't defeat the boss as I am. If I have tried over and over again and I can't beat them, I can bring in charms and try to buff myself out just a tiny bit. But I can't run around with them in my inventory non-stop because, as you can see, I'm picking up stuff non-stop. And if this is just choked with crap that's just slightly making my playthrough a little bit faster, I've got all this shit on the ground that I've still got to go back and pick up and keep taking back inside and stuff, you know? So, yeah, it just kind of, it doesn't help me go through and pick up everything. Later, after I finish this character and stuff, I will probably leave a lot of stuff in my inventory, and I will probably pick up more gold, and I will have items that are leaning more towards like find specific magic items or drop more gold or something like that, and I won't worry about it as much. But that's after this playthrough is complete. Which, by the way, when this playthrough is complete, I will show off my original Diablo 2 characters, which you'll see on the main menu anyway when I go to exit the game, that I've imported from the original game. that I'll showcase after she's finished, because I'm also going to recreate a sorceress from that as well, Tabby Cat, and she'll be my next character in Diablo 2 Resurrected. So I've got plans and stuff. But yeah, until they're all the way through their playthrough, I'm keeping it as it is. The thing is with the sorceress though, with Tabby Cat, she won't be quite as bad with this, because as you can see, I've got an even 7 on all 3 of my fire type arrows. Now, when I was a kid, so I did play Diablo 1, right? But as a kid back in that time, a lot of games were each to their own. So the dynamic of how shit worked wasn't magically the same thing as the previous version of the game. Okay, not always. So I treated it the same way. And my logic as a kid was that, oh, if I put points into this and this, it will effectively make this stronger. That's not how this works. Okay, my other characters that I've made since then, I put like as many points as I need in this. I mostly ignore that until I've got this, and then I buff out the shit of that. Or I go to Akara and I get her to wipe my points and I put them mostly down here, with most of those being 1. Okay, but this is the recreation playthrough, so we have this, and it's terrible. And it means that I'm only doing like a 7 level attack or a 6 level passive attack in general at level 82 in Hell in Act 5. So it makes it really, really difficult. The other thing too is obviously the stats make it really hard for me to wear the right gear for the level of where I am. And the stuff that I need my items to have is way different than what an average person's character would need their stuff to have. So, like, a lot of people have something else that, like, maybe super buffs, like, I don't know, fucking extra dexterity or something else or whatever, you know. I go for things that are giving me, like, equal or better than the previous item. Like, if I open up hers, this was my previous... what do you call it? Armor? I'm not joking. This was my previous armor to this piece that I've got. So it was 519 defense. This is 750. That's better. This had 11 enhanced defense, 5 plus strength, 1 plus life, and some poison resistance, right? And this had 40% chance of open wounds, 171 enhanced defense, percentage enhanced defense, 56 defense, 10 plus the strength, fire resistance, and attack takes damage of 32, which was a better than. So this was not equal, this was better than that. So therefore I could upgrade to it. Sometimes I find things that are almost equal, but the magic stuff down the bottom isn't better. Like, the damage will be higher, but the shit down the bottom is not. And that's only making it about equal. So even the shit that I upgrade to has to be better. Like, my previous helm was a 141, right? And we've got a 245 and stuff. I only recently got decent boots. Every time I read out those, because they're Sandstorm, I immediately think of, like, fucking Sandstorm Gerard. And I love it. But yeah, I will have to go back to town soon to drop off my gear. I'll just run back through here because I'm not entirely sure I cleared it. But yeah, it takes a while. It's not like your funny words, Magic Man. What all the damn gibberish you, mate. Good. Oh, there's the second one. Hold on, where'd he go? Okay, I hadn't fully cleared this little spot. This is fine. You're pretty close to finishing the game though. Yeah, in like 6 months from now. Maybe. Because like, even though we've run up here, this is our second time running up here tonight because the game crashed. I'm not probably going to get all the way up to Shank before 1 a.m, which is 30 minutes from now. Okay. I might, but I might not. And if I don't, then wherever we get up to, I have to go back to town and then re-clear all of this next week and work my way back up to Shank and hope that the game doesn't crash again. So I can kill him and get that progress and XP and go forwards. And get out of my way, love. So, like, the other thing is the waypoints. So, if I don't make it to a waypoint, I have to go back through the previous area and re-clear the whole previous area, kill everything, and pick up all the loot and sell all the loot. until I make it through to the waypoint as like a save point. Then I can start from the next area from the waypoint. So it can take a bit. Like there's a couple of times where I just have not found the waypoint. And with like in Kurust, I spent ages trying to find the fucking waypoint in there. It took 2 or 3 weeks before we fucking found it because I had so much backtracking to do. The only thing I don't have to redo is dungeons where you go down into like an area underneath like this zone. If there was a dungeon out here, I wouldn't have to redo it because once it's cleared, it's a finite space. So I don't have to go back through and re-clear that, which is nice. One of the few little things I can do. Let me move this over so I've got a bit more space. Give me a second. Just move that like, there we go. Alright, not perfect, but this will do. Now, I don't know if he teleported downwards and I'll have to find him because I heard him, but I don't see him dead. That could be him dead. I don't see him. Do you know what these items in the game they can make with runes? Do you know that there are items in the game? Yeah, no shit. Okay, so I've been playing Diablo 2 since about whenever it came out. So whatever fucking year that was, I was 12. And I've been playing it since then. I'm 37. Okay. I have, of course, taken like a couple of years where I didn't play it because I was busy with things, medical, mental, stuff like that. But I have played it for over 20 years. I am well aware of rune words existing and I'm well aware of like, you know, stats and all that shit. I just don't care for it. Now, oh, I'm fucking stuck in the well. Oh, it bumped me out of it last second. That's okay, we'll save that anyway. But yeah, I know of these things. It's just not part of this playthrough because this playthrough is a recreation of the character I made when I was 12 years old. The very first character I played in Diablo 2. So there's a lot of stuff I didn't know when I was a 12-year-old back on dial-up, back before like forums were really that much of a thing. The information I had about Diablo 2, anything that I like learnt was either something that I physically learnt myself in the game, or we had, if we were lucky enough to have somebody else playing it in our local area, and they put out an advert in the local newspaper that had like information on stuff or cheats and stuff like that, then we were lucky enough to learn that from them. But that's basically where the knowledge comes from. And then anything else since then, obviously like forums existed and there was obviously Battle.net and, you know, years of playing it in general. But I never really took the time to dabble into like specifically looking up the specific rune words and stuff. I know that there's a website for it. I just don't give a shit about it. There's some rune words I've made accidentally and stuff, but for this playthrough I've had to purposely forget a lot of things. And then, what do you call it? Not just that, but like I haven't gone online with this character yet in Resurrected either because I'm waiting until she finishes. I'm doing the entire playthrough solo. Because otherwise, like if somebody jumps into my game and they try to help me level and stuff, like, you know, obviously that's not doing what I did when I was a kid. Like, you know, that's just compensating for like the areas that are too tough and shit. Like, I know when I was a kid I did play Diablo 2 with like my brother and my father and shit, but like, yeah, I don't exactly have them to jump on and like play the game with me and stuff, and other people are not going to play it the same way in the same context. Like there's a couple of spots that were like pain in the asses to do, and I'm like, man, I remember this. I remember my dad helping me with this section and stuff like that, but I'm like, well, I'm 37 and my dad's not here to do that, so, you know, I guess I've got to like woman up and just fucking do it myself. Hold on, it's Dak Baron again. This cunt. Hold on. I thought we killed you earlier. We probably did. Anyway, we'll get him dead again. Yeah, no, I'm well aware that like rune words would compensate for so much. Just the same as taking on an item that says like reduced requirements would also compensate for a lot of my stats, but that would be basically akin to just cheating. Like, what would be the point of that, since obviously like the whole point of it is to deal with like what can I use on her and and oh, I can't do this thing because I've lost my helm somewhere. I don't know where Eliza went. Like, get your cheeks down here, love. You're fucking dying and you're like 50 grand. Stuff like that. Like, I don't see the point in doing it. Plus, like I said, rune words can't do, not on this playthrough. Not on Tabby Cat's playthrough either, actually. I can't do that then, because, like, I knew of rune words by the time I was playing Tabby Cat, but I didn't know the combinations yet. So I couldn't use it on her either. So there won't be rune words on her. But her skill tree won't be as fucking awful. Luckily. That'd be nice. I actually do like the old graphics. I could play like this any day, all day, but I'm aware I'm playing on the internet, and I'm also aware that, like, I am experiencing Resurrected for the first time, so I am enjoying it. There's sometimes I'll come up against an enemy and I'll be like, what the fuck is that? And I'll have to switch the old graphics to see what it was. But it doesn't happen too often. I had it with the Corpulents. I didn't know what they were because, like, I couldn't recognize them in the new graphics. And there was something else somewhere else that I was like, the fuck is this? I think it was Baal's minions. You know, the last ones that kind of look like little dinosaur things. I didn't know what those were. Because I had to, like, put it back into the old graphics to be like, oh, it's them.
The morning comes.
Yeah, anyway, it's like a rhinoceros looking like dinosaur thing. I might just forgo walking down to Kane for the moment. I see these as just good money, honestly. I need more health. What are you looking at, Azula? My cat is stretching towards what I presume is my other cat in the doorway. I would imagine. Alright, give me that. I'll put the money back. Came out in 2000, pretty easy to remember. I know, but I sometimes just, like, forget. Because, like, there's a lot that I'm remembering. And same with this game, like, I'm very lucky that I remember so much about my first playthrough. I really need to write it down, but I have, like, this whole, like, playthrough so far anyway as cataloging it, so I don't feel like I really need to do that in any rush. But I'll try to at some point. I'll try to write it down because some other people want to try to do an OCD nostalgia playthrough. Even though it wouldn't be technically their first character, I do encourage everybody, if you can remember what you did on your first original character in Diablo 2, try to redo that and try not to, like, cheat it with, like, all the shit that you know now, and try not to min-max it and play through the infuriating moments where, you know, you know that you could do something better. Like, for instance, when I went into Travancore in Nightmare, I went down Endurance of Hate and I ran out of time on stream and I didn't find the waypoint, and I tried the next week to kind of, like, just go past that and go straight down because I had already cleared that area. And anyway, I ended up dying in the Endurance of Hate, and I then had to run back past the Living Council without armor. And I ended up dying 8 times and stuff like that. And somebody just was like, why don't you use a staff for teleportation? I'm like, do you think 12-year-old me knew of a fucking staff for teleportation on my first character that was an Amazon? No, I did not. So we don't get to do that. But that's a great idea. I just can't do that, you know? And yeah, there's been times like, you know, the Viper Temple where I spent 2 hours dying every few minutes trying to get my gear back from just inside of the Viper Temple because I got hit, and the way that they attack you is they kind of, like, stand back, like, 2 from the door. So when you arrive in, they can't, like, swarm up to the door and you can't get spawned behind them like the other dens and shit can. So yeah, that was a bit of bullshit, but I spent 2 hours getting my corpse back and all my gear. So yeah, stuff like that. I had so many people that were just like, oh, I don't have the patience for this, and it's like, well, I do. And this is what I did when I was a kid when I died, is I just had to keep going back in and trying to get my shit back out because I didn't know of anything else I could do. I didn't even know back then that you could just die, go back to town or hop out of the game or whatever, and your corpse is back in town. I didn't fucking know that until Resurrected because I'd never done it. The only thing that happened was that apparently one of the corpses that I left in that battle did not have my proper gear on it. I must have picked up, like, a helm or something and it put it on it, and that corpse was sitting back in town. I was so confused why I had a dead body in town, and I had all my armor in my stash and on me, and I'm like, what is this? Why is there a corpse? And yeah, that was the day that I literally learned. That was, what, this year? I think that was this year or even really late last year. So yeah, I'm still learning shit, which is kind of fun, honestly. Oh, the dial-up days, oh my god. Oh yeah, so I was talking about that earlier. It's like I kind of wish that the offline version of Resurrected would have, you know, a legitimate no internet offline version. So that, like, back in the day when, like, you know, your mum decided to pick up the telephone and make a phone call and dropped out your internet, yeah, you'd lose internet and shit, but, like, it didn't affect your damn game. I tend to find at the moment Diablo is struggling. I don't know what it is, but my Diablo is struggling with, like, Act 4 and beyond. We've had a lot of crashes and stuff. And I crave the stability of the original, where it didn't matter if you had internet, it didn't draw on your internet, you just had to have the game installed and stuff. I'm in Australia, so, like, you know, the internet is shit here. It does, you can play without internet. Oh no, you can, it's just you have to have the launcher connected to internet, or mine doesn't fucking let me play. So as long as that's open and the fucking game is running, it's still a pain in the ass. I think I've tested it where I've got nothing else running and it still pulls. Either way, I have to close out of so many different things to be able to have it not be kind of jittery and shit. It's something. What else did I miss in there? Oh, I got it. The requirements, minus requirements stuff exists back then, I'm not actually sure. It did because one of my characters has got a reduced requirements item on my original, and that would have been something I got after I completed her playthrough, like after I finished the file. And yeah, I know it's existed since back then. I just don't think it's like first year back then kind of thing. I think it's like probably a decade later, like 210 kind of area maybe, is when it maybe came in. Because I know I played her pretty long. Trying to think, I was still playing Diablo here, but the game was starting to have a bit of issues, like every so often. But yeah, I was pretty much, as long as I didn't go online, as long as I didn't try to jump on Battle.net, my character was fine. But that could also just be the shit that's on her as well, on my original. You see what I mean when I eventually show her off. There's gonna be a few, okay, moments when you see that shit. I also am looking forward to taking her outside and displaying what she can do. Because compared to what this one is now, shit she's got, I love it. What else? No, you can still play the game offline without Battle.net. Mine doesn't allow me to. Mine has to have the launcher open and connected to internet for some kind of authentication shit, or it won't let me play Diablo. Any of the Diablos. That's part of why I'm constantly bitching about it every other stream. But then again, I also have it a bit with some of my other games with Steam and shit too. I generally have to have Steam open to play them. Or otherwise they have fucking issues. Something about cloud storage stuff for them, I think, though. And I think it's the same thing for Diablo, though. But yeah, Diablo is more so genuinely actually affected by my internet and stuff, because when, like last week for instance, when we were getting all the crashes, when I quit out of, because I had my stream open, but I also have like, what do you call it, like the redeems and shit. I have that open, and I think I had YouTube open because I was still, it was like my second YouTube stream, and I had to close all of them plus Discord for it to stop stuttering and like jumping around as much. And then it sort of didn't impact the crashing too much, but it definitely, I definitely could at least like move around. Like when I tried to summon my decoy, I was sometimes having to click to summon her 3 times to get it to summon once. It was just not registering that I was requesting it to summon her at all. So it was kind of just being a pain in the ass. That's not the first time that's happened, but that's just an example of what happened. I get that a fair bit. That's why usually when I'm playing games, when I'm streaming, I don't usually have stuff open. I don't usually look up web browsers or anything like that, because even my streams crap out and we lose audio sometimes if I have like something else open using the internet. It's Australian internet. It's just absolute dog shit. This is why I'm going through a relay instead of directly outputting to 2 streams at once. Whoops, wrong button. My internet could not handle it if it wanted to. Let's not put a slugfest, love it. And just subscribe to your channel. We'll be following the D2 journey. Nice. Well, Diablo 2 will be every Thursday. I don't tend to miss those. I do every so often, depending on what's going on, but it is consistently on Thursdays and stuff. That is the slowest progression I've ever witnessed. Yeah, it's just general patience, honestly. But yeah, this, I would expect that hell's gonna take me a while to get through, honestly. Because there was a couple of areas like, is it like the Black Forest and stuff like that, or wherever it's called? That took me like 8 hours to clear. Coal Plains took me 6. The Den of Evil took me 4. I died a lot in the Den of Evil. Hell has been hard from the get-go. So when I killed Nightmare Baal dropped me a really sweet crossbow. But I can't use crossbows because I didn't use crossbows and I don't use crossbows. So I can only use a bow and an offhand weapon that is not a crossbow. It can be another bow, just not a crossbow. So when Baal dropped me a crossbow that was like doing 100 damage to 200 damage and I was doing like fucking 19 or some shit like tops, it was painful to have to sell that, to like throw that in the bin as soon as I got it, but I can't use it because of what I'm doing. And so as soon as I walked out into the Bloodmoor, I already was basically slammed at the door with enemies that were like super fast running around. Obviously, like in Hell, the health heals and crap like that. So like I was hurting them, but every time I went back inside, they were healing, and I couldn't do enough damage with like with Valkyrie, with Eliza and myself, the 3 of us hitting things. We were barely taking a notch off anything's health. Almost everything in Hell is fucking fire immune, which a lot of things were, so we were just not doing damage. And I've died quite a lot with this. Mind you, some things have just one-hit me for 500 health because I just didn't have the armor. And like a lot of people are like, oh, you've got like a, oh, what do you call it? Like a glass cannon or something like that. I'm like, oh no, she can't do damage either. And they're like, what? Like, you know, it makes total sense that they can't take a hit, because a lot of people have got like a character that does a lot of damage but like can't take a hit, and that's perfectly acceptable, but mine can't take a hit nor deal a hit, and that's just confusing for so many people, you know. So people explained this to me before. I already knew it was a bigger challenge than doing 99 runs. Yeah, pretty much. I did say that like I don't think I'd have the patience to take it all the way